everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly, the show where I give you guys the latest in prog news, introduce you guys to some new prog singles, and give you updates on what's happening here on the channel on Nathan on Shuffle. I do this about every 2 weeks now, just trying to collect some of the most interesting news tidbits in the world of prog and related genres, anything in the music world that I think is even tangentially related to the progressive rock and metal world. Today is March 27th, 2026, and first I like to start out with some of the new releases that have come out recently. Probably the biggest one for me that has come out in the last couple weeks. On March 20th, we had the Deer Hunters album, Sunya, come out. I did a full review of it this past week. Excellent indie prog. I think Casey has talked about this album as in the genre of sci-fi yacht prog, perhaps. But just one of my favorite bands of all time, climbing the ranks, and I can't speak highly enough. I know there's possibly some mixed opinions about Sunya. Some of my fellow reviewers haven't spoken as highly of it, but it connects with me. It's the music that really speaks to my soul, so I'd recommend you guys check it out. It's an excellent concept record. And also, in the heavier metal vein, Neurosis came out with An Undying Love for a Burning World. And I know my friends who are more into the extreme prog metal side of the equation are really in love with this one. So I wanted to mention that. It came out last Friday as well. Tusmork also came out with their album Balderdom, a more retro 70s style prog rock kind of quirky group on Charisma Records. Wanted to mention them. And this weekend, Echoverse came out with their record Fall Towards the Sky, just melodic prog rock kind of in the vein of like a Neal Morse and some Rush inspiration and things like that. A couple members from the Prog Report are in that group, so really excellent stuff. I've heard the album, and I think it's really great melodic prog. I'll be talking about it in my monthly roundup to come in the next couple weeks. Godsticks also released a record called Void, more in the heavy, more almost metal prog rock kind of vein. Another release I wanted to mention is Legs on Wheels and their album Gobble, which was up on Bandcamp earlier in the month, but it's now released on streaming. So I wanted to mention it. This is one of my favorite releases of the month. I'll be talking about it in my monthly roundup, kind of the new incarnation of like a band. You know, I feel like they have ties with Gentle Giant. It's like if Gentle Giant was a post-rock band in this era, and I really like it. Post-punk is what I meant to say, kind of along the lines of like a Black Midi or a Black Country New Road, but it's very entertaining, very fun, eclectic prog, but with good melody. I can't recommend that enough. I'll be talking about it more in a future episode, but yeah, excellent stuff. Legs on Wheels, Gobble is the name of that one. Okay, into the prog news for the week here. I wanted to get into some Neal Morse related news. As everyone knows who watches my channel, I'm a huge Neal Morse super fan. And he announced some touring news. First of all, he's doing a solo tour, the Darkness and Light European Tour. There's some dates already on the calendar here for June. So that's more in the singer-songwriter type vein. It sounds like he's coming out with a singer-songwriter album called Darkness and Light. That should hopefully be coming out by the end of the year, I would imagine. So he's putting together a set of more singer-songwriter material and just doing solo work on that one. So not much prog, but if you're a fan of Neal Morse and you're in this like area that he's performing in the UK, then you should check him out. I think it's well worth checking out. Ticket links for the Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium dates are available on nealmorse.com/tour dates. So those are all already on sale and available for purchase. Also, Neal Morse Band has announced a few dates that they're doing this like really short tour. They're doing a few dates in the U.S. Before their Morse Fest in Tennessee, and they're doing a Morse Fest in the Netherlands and in the U.K. So that's kind of the extent of the run that they're able to do. I think they have a very limited window of dates they can do because of Mike Portnoy's schedule in particular, I would imagine. But this is the full Neal Morse Band, of course. Neal Morse, Mike Portnoy, Eric Gillette, Bill Hubauer, and Randy George. George. They're going to be in Pennsylvania, August 11th, Glenside, Pennsylvania, at the Keswick Theater. August 12th, St. Charles, Illinois, at the Arcata Theater. August 14th, Anaheim, California, House of Blues. August 16th, Seattle, Washington, in the Triple Door Theater. So I'm really excited because the Anaheim show is right near where I live. So that'll be a lot of fun. I already ordered my tickets this morning. The plan is to go with my wife, my parents, and a friend of mine as well. So it should be a fun crew to have there for that concert experience. And I'm pretty excited. So they're one of the best live bands that exists in the world today, in my opinion. I'm always super impressed with what they put together. And I would guess that they're probably going to focus on the Lift album, their latest album, probably play that in its entirety, I would guess, and then do a smattering of other tracks from across their catalog. So should be a lot of fun. Should be a great concert. Check it out if you happen to be close to any of those markets, any of those places where they're playing. Pink Floyd is releasing a 1975 Los Angeles Sports Arena concert on vinyl and CD for the first time. This is coming out in April. I believe there's Steven Wilson. This is a recording that's restored and remastered by Steven Wilson from tapes that originated from the legendary late bootlegger Mike the Mike Millard, whose tapes come from concerts across Los Angeles in the 1970s that have become renowned from their surprisingly clear sound. So this is kind of a bootleg being remastered for an official release here. This is from 1975, so it's around the, I believe, Wish You Were Here tour. And it's being released as a Record Store Day exclusive on the 18th of April, followed by a 2 CD edition on April 24th. So should be really exciting to check out. Really cool concert. The concert opens with both Raving and Drooling and You've Got to Be Crazy, both of which evolved into Sheep and Dogs on the Animals album, so that's kind of cool. Before the epic Shine On You Crazy Diamond kicks in, both parts separated by Have a Cigar, also from Wish You Were Here, before the whole of Dark Side of the Moon is played, followed by an encore of Echoes. So classic material, you can't ask for much better than that. So that's going to be a really cool live release if you're into Pink Floyd and that bootleg. Sounds like it's going to be a really cool release. Crown Lands have released a new single called Through the Looking Glass. This is from their upcoming release, their upcoming album, Apocalypse, which comes out May 15th through Inside Out. Canadian prog rock duo, very much in the vein of Rush. A lot of people compare them to Rush. Also, a bit of Led Zeppelin. I believe the lead singer has that kind of Robert Plant style vocal, and just a lot of cool classic and modern prog influences from them. And it seems like they're stepping out into their own with this new record. Trying to forge their own path and create their own sound. I love their previous record, Fearless, and I have no doubt that this is going to be an incredible record. So check out Through the Looking Glass. It's going to be on my singles list. I always link that in the description, a YouTube playlist with all the singles that I talk about throughout the episode that I would recommend you listen to if you're interested in what's going on in the world of progressive rock. And if you're watching this, I think that's probably a good sign that you are into that. Through the Looking Glass features rolling 12-string arpeggios, mellotrons, and a 7/8 bridge featuring Moog leads, full proggy fun while also serving up a big chorus. That's how the band talks about this track. So check it out. The album's out for pre-order. They already released the big epic closing track, the title track, Apocalypse. So you could check that out if you really want to get a feel for their sound. Very much inspired by Rush and Yes and Led Zeppelin and all the classics. So I think it's going to be up everyone's alley. They've also got some tour dates going on throughout Canada coming up through March, and that should be a lot of fun to check them out. I believe a lot of these dates have already passed. This news is like a week old or so, but still relevant, still a great band, and I still want to point out their new single. Muse are returning with a new single, and they have announced their upcoming 10th studio album. The single's called Be With You, and the album is going to be called The Wow Signal, coming out June 26th. They have been teasing new music for a while. They released a single, I believe, last year, so it's it was kind of expected that they'd be releasing a new album soon. To me, they're kind of on the fringes of prog rock. A lot of people who like prog rock like their stuff, especially their earlier material, even though they have kind of a more big arena stadium rock kind of sound, and have delved more into a poppier aesthetic, I think, in their later records. But really cool single. I'm always excited for a band of this caliber with clear rock influences. I'll be interested in their new record. I know a lot of their like recent records haven't been super acclaimed in the prog rock community, but there's always something fun and interesting in their music to enjoy. So I like the spectacle and the bombastic type sound that they portray in their music. So yeah, their new single opens with a hefty blast of church organ before riding along on an electro pulse before the band's expected bombast arrives with flamboyant rocking guitars. So really fun music. If you're into that, I'm going to put that in the singles list as well. A lesser known band, but I'm super excited about this. Exploring Birdsong have announced their debut album, Every House We Built, and they've released a new single called Do You Like It Best When It Hurts. This is a London alt-pop proggy influenced outfit. They've released some EPs in the past and a lot of singles, and I always highlight their singles because I love their sound. A great female vocalist who I think is just absolutely fantastic. Lindsay Ward is her name. And they have this cool, it's pop tinged, not full blown like classic retro prog, but enough of variety and different textures to kind of give it that prog adjacent label, I think. So I really love their sound and what they've developed as a group thus far. The album is being released on June 26th via Long Branch Records. There's already 3 singles out. The most recent one will be on the prog singles list. But they've released tracks 42 and Romanticize as well, so you can look those up and check that out if you're curious about their sound. But just fabulous, well-written, wonderful pop prog music with female vocals, so can't recommend that enough. They're also doing some tour dates in Scotland and England in September, so that should be fun. Cool run of dates there. Also, some quicker hits I'm going to get through here. Teramaze have a new single called Mr. Crazy in their kind of typical prog metal vein. Their upcoming album is coming out May 8th called The Silent Architect. So if you want to check out kind of a cool, just accessible prog metal track, Mr. Crazy is a fun one with a lot of energy. So that should be a cool release. I feel like they're just getting better with each release. Moody Blues member Justin Hayward announced a UK tour for October called the Story in Your Eyes Tour. 12-date tour kicking off in Birmingham and running through Southend with 2 shows at London's Cadogan Hall. So wanted to mention that. I know I have some fans of Moody Blues. He's the sole surviving member of the Moody Blues doing some tour dates. Radiohead guitarist Ed O'Brien announces his second solo album, Blue Morpho, to be released in May. So this will be released through his label Transgressive on May 22nd. The single's actually really cool, almost cinematic, and a lot of different cool soundscapes to it. Psych, folk, prog adjacent cinematic sounds. They evolved from his own London studio, and it's being produced by Paul Epworth and features Shabaka Hutchings on flutes and composer Tonu Korvitz, with whom O'Brien bonded over their mutual admiration for the classicist Arvo Part, arranging strings by the Talon Chamber Orchestra. So that's where it gets its kind of cinematic feel, but really cool. I'm not a huge Radiohead guy, but I thought that was interesting and a cool prog adjacent news item there. Alan Parsons Project has a new 50th anniversary book out for pre-order, written by fan and prog contributor Joel McIver. It chronicles the evolution, development, and success of the Alan Parsons Project from 1975 until 1990. It's a hardback book assembled with Parsons' collaboration, and Eric Wolfson, his daughter Sally, had a big hand in putting this together as well. She noted it's an important part of preserving the legacy, and particularly making sure that Dad's role is properly understood and celebrated along with Alan's. Together they were audio gold. So if you're interested in Alan Parsons Project, this will be a cool book to check out. celebrating their 50th anniversary. Kraftwerk announced a 50th anniversary reissue for Radioactivity through Parlophone Records on May 15th. This will feature a brand new Dolby Atmos mix constructed from their original 16-track tapes at the band's legendary Kling Klang Studios. So this should be cool. This was their first entirely electronic album, concept record based around the themes of radioactive decay and radio communication. And it's going to be released in 3 different formats here: Blu-ray audio disc, and also a 12-inch vinyl picture disc, and a full digital release as well. So wanted to mention that. And then finally, Porcupine Tree offshoot Voyage 35 tease some new music as well. This is bassist, former Porcupine Tree bassist Colin Edwin and live guitarist John Wesley. They're going to be releasing a new version of Porcupine Tree's The Nostalgia Factory coming out April 3rd. They've talked a lot about their playing together. They're doing some upcoming European and UK tour dates. I believe they've been announced for next year's Cruise to the Edge as well. So a lot of cool stuff going on in that camp, doing a lot of classic old Porcupine Tree material from the early days. So concentrating on the Coma Divine era and a little bit after that as well. So should be really cool to hear the band and see what they have in store. People have asked if they're going to have Chris Maitland on drumming on their tour, but it seems like it won't be him. It'll be a different drummer that they're working with. So that's what I have for you guys today on the Prog News front. Some really cool singles. Like I mentioned, check out that Crown Land single, Through the Looking Glass. Also that Teramaze single, Exploring Birdsong. Those are all fantastic. That Radiohead track. I also want to point your attention to, it wasn't Radiohead, Ed O'Brien from Radiohead's track. Elder, I've talked about them in the past. Elder have a new album coming out. They're like a heavy psych prog band coming out with a record on May 29th, but they've released basically the title track from that, so I'll squeeze that also into my prog singles list. Don't want to miss that one. So a lot of cool singles to check out. I'm really excited about the upcoming release from Elder. Their last album, Innate Passage, was just a delight. So I think this one will be good as well. As for the channel itself, I did a review, like I mentioned, of the Deer Hunters Sunya this past week. Definitely check that one out. I gave it high praise. I think it's incredible. Early contender for one of my favorite albums of the year. I'm going to be doing a March roundup. I don't know if it's going to come out this week, probably the week after, because I still got to catch up on all my listening and make sure I listen to any releases that come out this weekend before I assemble that together. But I have a lot of great releases that I want to talk about through that episode. So it'll be a great recommendation episode for albums that have come out recently. And I'm hoping to continue my series. I talked about my classic Big Six prog bands a few weeks ago, and I want to follow that up with a more modern take on what my Big Six modern prog bands are. But I've been considering a couple different approaches to it, so I didn't want to rush that one, but I think that should be coming in the weeks ahead as well. So that's what I'm expecting for the channel. Some releases coming up, especially end of April into May, that I'm going to be talking about on the channel, certainly. So that'll be fun. And I'm just really excited for everything ahead on the channel. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I know I'm doing videos probably a lot less than I have been in the past, but I think it's been a nice schedule for me, and hopefully you guys are okay with a little bit of a reduced output. But I put a lot of care and attention into the videos I am putting out. So thank you guys again for following me, for being part of the channel, for watching my videos. It's really appreciated. So keep enjoying the music out there. Comment if you have any news items or upcoming releases or things in the prog world that you're excited about. Always love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll catch you hopefully in a future episode. Bye everybody. Enjoy the music.